It's a beautiful Friday afternoon in the capital. Good afternoon, viewers and listeners of the GIC. Welcome to today's edition of Cabinet Committee Briefing with me, Grace Cavey. As per norm, we are live on our social media pages, Facebook at Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, YouTube at MICT Namibia. Today, we are delighted to be joined in studio by Honorable Philemon Wise Emmanuel, the Minister of Justice and Labor Relations, to brief the nation. Honorable Minister, good afternoon and welcome to the Government Information Center.
Good afternoon, Grace, and thank you for having me. Well, Grace, I must say that I'm graciously pleased to join you on this platform, a platform that has been designed by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting to be used for the purpose of disseminating and sharing information with the public regarding the operations and functioning of various OMAs. I am joining you this afternoon, to brief the public with regard to the progress made by the Ministry of Justice and Labor Relations over the past 6 years. From the onset, I want to put it on record that the goal of the Ministry of Justice and Labor Relations remains very clear. That is to create a fair, inclusive, and resilient labor market where every worker feel respected, protected, empowered, and dignified. I will speak to the public this afternoon from 11 thematic areas covering both justice and industrial relations. To start with, I will highlight our international labor commitment by indicating that Namibia is a member of the International Labour Organization, and as such, time and again, we tend to benefit from the service and some, privileges or advantage that are offered by the International Labour Organization, either by ways of providing technical support in the form of training and capacity building, or time and again through the facilitations of access to financial assistance that are offered by UN-related agency. In that perspective, I want to highlight that Namibia has been chosen as a pathfinder country under the UN Global Accelerator on Job and Social Protection. The first this selection came about in 2024, and it resulted then in the UN Global or UN agency giving an amount of about 1.8 million US dollars that would translate into 31.4 Namibian dollars. 31.4 million Namibian dollars. So that was given to Namibia in the first round of the GA. So in order to implement, the accelerator on job or global accelerator on job and social protection. Again, this year, as a government, we submitted a proposal for consideration under the second Global Accelerator on Job and Social Protection, GA2 as we are calling it. And as a result of that proposal, which was then approved by the UN World Bank, so Namibia was then approved for another, financial grant in the amount of $3.5 million US dollars. That would translate roughly around or close to 26.5 million Namibian dollars. So that has been given under the second round. Further, we are also then pleased to inform the nation that subsequent to the ratification of ILO Convention 156 last year, we have since deposited that, that instrument with the ILO head office in Geneva on 14th August 2025. So the convention in question recognizes the right of workers with family responsibility, and we regard as a step toward a more compassionate and balanced work environment. The ratification of the instrument, as I indicated, was done last year, and the depositing was then concluded in August 2025. In terms of equity, inclusions, and compliance within the labor space, I want to indicate that while many employers have embraced equity and its strategic importance, non-compliance remain a great concern. In this regard, so this year in August this year, the 13 employers appeared before the affirmative action review panel, 10 of which were found compliant, while 2 were denied certificates due to failure to appoint Namibian understudy. In terms of capacity building, the ministry continues with training, and to date we have trained over 70 employers, and we have received around 876 affirmative action report. Round about 671 employers were issued with compliance certificate, and about 203 are still under review. In our continued pursuit for equity and safety assurance, we are also seized with the process of finalizing 2 critical laws, namely the Employment Equity Bill as well as the Occupational Safety and Health Bill. This is in addition to the amendment being effected to the Employment Labor or to the Labor Act in general. In so far as the job guidance and preparedness is concerned, I want to inform the public that through the Ministry Employment Service Bureau, the ministry has so far registered over 3,500 job seekers as well as 40 employers on its digital platform. Additionally, the ministry facilitated 458 job placement and received roughly around 1,200 vacancy for listing from a diverse pool of employers. Further, in positioning ourselves for the future of jobs, we continue to have career talk, facilitate motivational sessions, as well as pre-retirement workshop. This is done in order to connect people or the citizens of this country to job opportunity and prepare them for the life transition. In our well-considered view, this service or initiative are vital to unlocking Namibian human capital potential. In terms of workplace inspection and minimum wage enforcement, the ministry continue to conduct workplace inspection in order to protect workers against abuse and exploitation that may possibly happen in the workplace. Up to this morning, I want to announce that the ministry has conducted about 1,377 workplace inspection across key sectors. Evidently, and as a result of the outcome of those inspections, it is clear there is an exponential increase in the rate of compliance, if one has regard to the statistic that I have reported in Parliament earlier this week, out of this number, here in quoted, 55% of employers are compliant, while 45% fall short of compliance. The non-compliance rate is primarily attributed to the implementations of the national minimum wage. In the premise, the ministry has issued 30 compliance orders, 20 of which are now under appeal. We have also managed to successfully resolve over 2,100 labor complaints, recovering roughly around 1.3 million wage earlier owed to the affected employees. And these wages have since been paid over to the affected employees. Also, while we are speaking to the issue of the national minimum wage, it's important to pause and to inform the public once again, for we cannot over-communicate insofar as this important component of our labor market is concerned, that the national minimum wage was introduced effective 1st January 2025. And insofar as the position of the ministry is concerned, this minimum wage of $18 per hour applied to all categories of employment. The only category that are not expected to comply with the $18 per hour as a national minimum wage effective from the 1st of January 2025 is the security industry, the domestic workers, as well as the agricultural workers. And I will speak to those categories of employment in a short while. Insofar as the security industry is concerned, no security company that employs security workers as of the 1st of January 2025 is expected to pay a worker less than $13.50. That rate would apply throughout 2025. Effective from the 1st of January 2026, all security companies are expected to pay at minimum their workers $16 per hour, and that rate would then prevail throughout 2026. Effective from the 1st of January 2027, so all security workers are then expected to be migrated to $18 per hour, so across the security industry. In respect of the domestic workers, effective from the 1st of January 2025, every domestic worker is expected to earn $12 per hour. So, and that rate would perpetuate or will be in existence, throughout 2025. Effective from the 1st of January 2026, all domestic workers are expected to be paid $15 per hour, and that rate would be in existence until 31st December 2026. As of January 2027, all domestic workers are expected then to be migrated to $18 per hour. So with the agricultural workers, again, the expectation of government is that effective January 2025, no agricultural worker should earn less than $12 per hour. And as of next year, effective January 2026, no agricultural worker should earn less than $15 per hour. And as of 1st January 2027. So no agricultural worker should earn less than $18 per hour. But our wish and expectation as government is that if there is actually any employer that would be able to migrate and start remunerating their workers, in those three industries, already $18 per hour, we would appreciate it 100% as government. And I think any, peace-loving Namibian would actually welcome that gesture from any of the employers. In terms of dispute preventions and resolutions, I take it that it's common cause that as citizens we know that the Office of the Labor Commissioner is empowered in terms of the law to employ effort aiming at mitigating, industrial dispute that can either be by ways of, mediatings before those dispute arises, or as and when they are looming, or basically dealing or conciliating and arbitrating over the dispute that may have been referred to that specific office. I therefore want to indicate that although the turnaround time remain one of the greatest challenge, at the Office of the Labor Commissioner, for which strategic interventions are under consideration on how to address those challenges. So the office nevertheless have managed to resolve, round about 1,774 out of 2,264 labor dispute that were referred to it. Again, while progress at the Office of the Labor Commissioner may appear steady, so we want to underscore that there is still a need, or the need for more arbitrator continue to perpetuate, and that require an urgent attention. And I want to inform the public that we are looking into that in order to see how we can fast track the process of dispute resolutions at that very office. The ministry has also intervened in a number of dispute, and the major three of those disputes are ones that in our consideration were verging on national interest, and in this regard, Section 80 of the Labor Act was actually tested for the first time, a testament of our commitment as government to social peace and justice. Further, I want to indicate that as a ministry, we continue to invest. So our mediations efforts in aviating or in averting potential industrial strike. And I think we have also probably witnessed what has happened with regard to what was the imminent or looming industrial strike that was about to happen, with regard to or between the employees of Novanam as well as Novanam as the employer. So that was also just averted, but again by the interventions of the ministry. So, and as a result, the party then concluded the settlement agreement, earlier this week. In respect of child labor and the restorations of human dignity, I think I want to indicate that a national action plan on the eliminations of child labor is ready for validation. This is a very important instrument in the prevention of child abuse and labor. And this milestone convincingly reflects our unwavering stance against the child abuse in any form or design. We stand clear as a ministry and as a government that no child should be robbed of their future through exploitation or through engagement of their labor while they are under age. In terms of the provisions of legal aid, to the citizens that are unable to afford legal costs, I am pleased to announce that so far the ministry have received close to 4,900 legal aid application, and of this application, about 57% has so far been approved. Further, I'm pleased to announce that an online application for legal aid are now permissible and available, and client can actually check their status or monitor the status of their application online. This is a significant step in the improvement of access to justice in our view. I also want to indicate or to stress once again that legal aid is a service designated or designed to assist indigent litigants who either have no income or earn below a prescribed threshold. But it's also important to inform the public that previously the legal aid only cater for people that were earning an amount of about 3,500. And if you were earning more than that, so you couldn't qualify to get assisted through legal aid. But we have since increased that threshold from 3,500 to 7,000. As of now, anyone that wouldn't qualify or the person that wouldn't qualify for legal aid is only a person that is earning above 7,000 monthly. Further, we continue to be on a persistent reform trajectory, and in this regard, the Legal Aid Act is under review. So the proposed amendment to the said act will introduce, among others, deputy directors, appeal committee, and quality assurance. And we consider this as a strategic shift that will speed up and protect the vulnerable members of our society or clients, to say it in alternative words. In terms of the legislative drafting and reform, so we have finalized several important bills, including Public Enterprises Governance Act Amendment Bill, as well as the Land Bill, the Health Mental Health Bill, as well as the Income Tax Amendment Bill. Further, we have also promulgated the rules of the Higher Court pertaining or regulating the sale in executions of primary homes. And as I have announced about 2 weeks ago, it's also important to inform that the public that the High Court Amendment Act number 2 of 2024 has since been commenced. So, which will then provide safeguard against the sale of home of primary resident by subjecting those sales to judiciary review. We have also developed a legislative drafting manual and a training program in partnership with the University of Namibia as well as UNDP in order to build capacity. As it may be a common cause to the members of the public, so there has been concern with regard to the turnaround time, both in terms of our legislative drafting process, as well as in terms of the adjudications and the arbitration of cases at the Office of the Labor Commissioner, as well as in terms of the liquidations and distributions of deceased estate at the Office of the Masters of High Court. So the capacity that we are then trying to build would also assist in, in those respects. In terms of the diversifications of legal adjudication forum, I think it's important also to stress that we have since established the Community Court in terms of the Community Court Act number 10 of 2003, and to date about 37 community court have been established. So as a ministry, we continue to provide support, to those community court, for we consider them as, or they continue to provide the grassroots justice. In this regard, to date, we have provided the following support to community court. We have renovated a number of them so that they can then start operating or have office facilities or courtroom to operate from. We have also recently distributed about 8 vehicles to 8 community court. These are the community court that have demonstrated that they have a high volume of cases or workloads of cases, and they also get to travel, or their messengers of court get to travel long distances in order to serve the summons to, to the offenders. We have also elevated the Directorate of Community Court, and in fact we have recruited more staff, in the community court directorate that would then help, in providing the administrative support to community court. So far, the community courts that we have in existence have dealt or handled over 2,000 cases, since the last financial year. So that is actually to say that in the last in the past 6 months, so those community courts have dealt with over 2,000 cases. It's important also to note that we continue to pursue the securing of more resources and for community court, and more vehicles that will also be provided, to community courts that have not yet received the vehicles, as we have done to the other 8 that I have mentioned. But also, it's important to inform the public that part of the challenge that we continue to receive, or concern that we continue to receive from the community court functionaries, include the lower or low allowance that is given to justice assessors as well as other officials of community court. And in this regard, a consideration on what to do about the allowance is actually being made. And as soon as all the consultations are concluded, I think we'll be in a position to announce what solutions we have found. In terms of law reform and policy, I think it's important to indicate that the ministry, through the Directorate of Law Reform and Development Commission, has so far provided training to community or to traditional leaders on key laws, and conducted several national consultations on a number of legislations, including the MVA Fund Act. At the present, so the commission is also seized with the finalizations of the following bill, which are at an advanced stage, I am informed. 1 is the Small Claim Court Bill. 2 is the Public Procurement Amendment Bill. So 3 is the Diamond Bill that is also being reviewed. And then the rest of the other legislations or bills that will be formulated, it will be done within the confinement of the national legislative agenda that I have spoken to earlier on. And the public is fully conversant of how the national legislative agenda came about, that it came about as a result of the announcement by Her Excellency, the President, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, during her State of Nation address, when she extended an invitation to the public members, to the citizens of this country, to submit proposals, on the legislation that they want to see developed, and also on the number of laws that they would want to see reformed or amended. As a result of that, the ministry then invited the public members to submit those proposals for consideration, and it is those proposals that culminated into the development of what we are now referring to as the National Legislative Agenda for 2025-2030. So this specific legislative agenda was approved by Cabinet, and it has then been given both now to the Law Reform and Development Commission as a roadmap to guide the development of laws for the next 5 years. It is also a blueprint for the Legislative Directorate in terms of guiding their priority in the process of legislative drafting. I want to add also that in terms of the other legislations or the other bills that I have referred to, that is the Public Enterprises Public Enterprises Governance Amendment Bill, the Land Bill, Mental Health Bill, Income Tax Amendment Bill. These bills have already been enrouted for tabling to Parliament. So as far as the ministry is concerned, so those bills have been cleared for tabling in Parliament. In so far as the decentralizations of services at the Office of the Masters of the High Court, I wish to inform the public that we have expanded our service across the country, and in this regard, the office in Oshakati is now fully staffed and